where they do even no one make person talk.
Good evening to you. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you from wherever you are watching from. And this is Maiyegun live, even though I'm doing the broadcast from a different location. But it just seems like something that can't wait. I feel like, we can do with it right now, right here. And that is the video that I saw on online, where the mullahs, especially from the same northern Nigeria, where they have told us that the north is bleeding. But I'll get to that. They were sure praying for Tinubu to be the president and all that. No joke. And I was like, okay, if the north says they wanted Tinubu, is that not selling point, or let me say a selling point kind of a thing that, it's the one who brought them, who supported them to bring Boko Haram in. So if they are now telling the rest of us that, well, if you don't like Tinubu, we are praying for him to be the president, it simply means we, the Yorubas, we can easily just dash them Tinubu. It seems that they actually own him. Sorry if the quality of the video is somehow, I'm just improvising, by the way, which means I'm using some smaller devices, just using everything not like usual. So share the broadcast, invite your friends, and then tell them Maiyegun today. However, this is the clip. Let me share.
اللهم نسألك أن تعيد مولى تنبو على هذه الأمر يا رب العالمين ويكون رئيس نيجيريا في هذه القرن يا رب العالمين.
No be shere. So let me know before I even continue. Let me know what that sound or the picture looks like. If we can manage it, yes, I'll do this piece. But if it's so horrible, yeah, we can always, postpone it. Or, whatever it feels like to you, please let me know. I'm going to check it on mine as well. I like that. We will manage it as long as you can hear me, and then maybe you can use smaller devices as well. Use a smaller device. It's going to come out sharper and clearer. So I'm trying to steal somebody's space right now. I came to see someone, and I decided that by the time I get home, some of you will be in bed, right? Now, 2023 election is going to play, or let me say, the road, which starts from this 2022. The road to their 2023 charade is going to take a different dimension, which means there will be no any further pretense. All your prediction, all your expectations as their actions when it comes to this election year, they are going to unravel this year. But the most funny one is this: in Yoruba land, as we speak, where Tinubu comes from, most of those who are promoting Tinubu in Yoruba land, if you check them very well, most of them just tell you pretty much like try to blackmail you that since Tinubu is a Yoruba man, you as a Yoruba man, it is expected of you to just and now that all the endorsement that we have seen so far, they are coming from the people who told you that Sai Baba, Sai Buhari, whatever Buhari does, it's not wrong. Whatever APC, whatever calamity APC has brought upon the entire country, it doesn't really matter. Since this same set of people, right, are now endorsing Tinubu. But you see the blackmailing part, because the blackmailing part as a Yoruba man is the reason why I'm actually going to talk about this as usual. Before I get blackmailed, for example, when you see a video like this, where Northerners are showing mass movement for Tinubu presidency, and as Nigeria is currently structured, as their electoral system is currently structured, the one that they refused to, what do you call it, to amend in any way to suit the expectation of everyone in something you can at least call a free and fair election. So rigged system as Yorubas. So no, I mean, as it is currently set up. So the northern Nigeria, who hold the highest share, Tinubu himself decided to lick their asses, deny us in time of our own agony, pretended, and that's one thing that continued to jot me that a day of time like this is going to come, is that Yorubas screamed at the top of our voices for the invasion of the Yoruba land. And this gang of those who are still going to come back to tell you that as a Yoruba man, Tinubu should automatically be an ideal person to you, right? Despite all that screaming and everything, Tinubu kept his sealed mouth. Meanwhile, the killings in northern Nigeria actually got the attention of Tinubu better. He's contributed a lot to them. He's donated to some of those disaster victims. And as we speak, it seems that he pays more when it comes to those who are championing their fraudulent 2023 election again. And as usual, it is starting from the north. And this time around, they call it tsunami, a tsunami of Tinubu's presidency. Some said he would never be one. I've been told on this program that he would never be one. He would never be president, forget it. When they are done with him, they will dump him and the rest of that. Well, some said that Buhari would never be president as well. But I'll show you that video again. So when I saw this, I know the religious angle that this year 2023 election is also going to go, especially since it is starting from the north. Watch it.
اللهم نسألك أن تعيد بولاء تنبو على هذه الأمر يا رب العالمين ويكون لأسر نيجيريا بهذه القرن يا رب العالمين.
So in 2014, it's a pandemic. The man that became Nigeria Minister of Communication right now, the one in charge of all your telecommunication, your communication generally, phone, text, and all that. In 2014, to appeal to the fanatics for the sake of election, which he belonged to, that was exactly what he was doing. But in his own, he wasn't doing it in a large gathering, Jumat prayer, what have you. All right? So he was doing it in his own mosque in Kaduna also. And he was praying then that God should please answer their prayer and give them Buhari. God, please answer. So people religiously felt like Buhari had to be the president. And if Buhari should be president, it is the will of Allah. And a few days ago, they said they have seen 2,500 mullahs, Muslim clerics, who are ready to start prayers for Tinubu's presidency. Some of you who confidently believe that, forget it, it's not going to happen. But it is the same card of what if Allah wants it? How can Allah want it except if the mullahs begin to tell you to pray to Allah? If Allah doesn't want him, he won't be president. Meanwhile, it all narrowed down to that religious brainwashing. Now, personally, I don't have any resources or enough capacity, right, to stop Tinubu's presidency. But some of us have the capacity to cut down those who are going to be caught up in the web of lies which brought us to this level in the first place. It is easy as we speak. Some of us know the political permutation that is still going to play out. And when they finally play out, some of those who are kind of carried away about the 2023 election and then Tinubu's presidency, when the disappointment happens, some of our projections will then possibly come and make sense to them. So you possibly can't tell them not to follow Tinubu until they get to the point of that disappointment whatsoever. But I don't really have any other power other than to tell you that it is a two-way thing. Two-way thing in the sense that you have known what these guys belong to. You have seen what they are capable of offering. And this whole game that they are probably going to pop up or play up in the course of this 2023 game, right? Most part of it, blackmail, then religion. Now we are seeing that already. And as we know the northern part of Nigeria, it is probably going to be a jolly good ride. Just same way, some people are possibly going to start praying for Atiku. But that doesn't make us, I mean, talking about this doesn't make us unpatriotic. This is why I said it's a two-way thing. Number one, we know what the capacity of Tinubu and Gang, what they have done in their own political journey or sojourn in 22 years. The result of that is the Yoruba land we have now. So the second thing is that we know what will be the end result of the whole exercise. Now, getting emotionally drawn into it, which is obviously going to happen, and why some of us are never going to be emotionally drawn into it, and would rather choose something else, is this. The northern Nigeria controls the electoral or the the electoral register, right? And in Nigeria, those who control the power, they understand the importance of this so well. And since Nigeria is not, it's not a fairly structured, it simply means the majority carry the vote, right? So up north, the only thing they have to offer us is the vote, the numbers in millions. Apart from that, absolutely nothing. So we in Yoruba land, many of our brothers who are in the east as well, when you combine all the eligible voters from this part of Nigeria, west, and then the east and south, yeah, they are just 1/3 of the voting bloc from northern Nigeria. In fact, in the imbalance, unjust political, let's say electoral system in Nigeria, which always give birth to these charlatans every now and then, as the journey towards that is beginning as well. The electoral system already puts the southern Nigeria in a second-class position in the scheme of things in Nigeria. Now, this imbalance is what has created so much bad blood, created so much anger, angst, and disagreement. It has led to so many protests and bloodbath. People have been incarcerated, people have been killed, people have been exiled because of all this imbalance. Now, ordinarily, it will be easier if Nigeria have a system whereby, you see these parts who have the, maybe I should, let me break it down again. You have Yoruba land, you have the Igbo land, Biafra land, you have the other coastal region of Ijo, Ishekiri, and all that. Now, Nigeria then gave them representatives. So before you select your representatives, so the process of selecting them is not dictated by the people themselves. They were dictated and structured by the beneficiary of the system, those who are always opposed to that change. So you have southern Nigeria, which is the economic backbone of what you call Nigeria of today. But when it comes to making political decision or electoral decision, their decision doesn't change anything in the scheme of things in Nigeria. Therefore, to become the president of Nigeria, it is better for you to appeal more to northern Nigeria than you appeal to southern Nigeria, because in the long run, their vote is inconsequential, while their economy existence is considered very valuable. So this imbalanced scheme of things, or a sort of a weak, rigged system, then paved way for the likes of Tinubu and gang to be godfathers. Now, it would have made sense that, of course, you will need people to push such agenda that will create a balance enough that everybody will feel like you are involved, you are included. But Nigeria, as a system of a winner takes it all, which is state by state, federal, state, and local. So the likes of Tinubu and gang, they would rather appeal to northern Nigeria, because that is where the determinant number of votes comes from. And to appeal to northern Nigeria, you just need to follow the footsteps of their political leaders. You don't even go there and start making promises or attempting to change the pattern of how they govern them. The pattern of governance in northern Nigeria is part of what contributed to the level of the decadence and destruction Nigeria has witnessed today, the backwardness, the underdevelopment, including terrorism that Nigeria has witnessed today. And it is the style of their leaders, the leadership that come from there. Yeah, they give no hoot, because the more insecure the place is, the richer they are likely going to become. It's ridiculous, a statement to make, but it is actually what it is. We have evidence that as the insecurity escalates there, yeah, the bank accounts of those who claim to be fighting for them continue to swell. So, if you want to try to say the challenge of the North, if we can tackle the challenge of the North, maybe we can then easily be able to tackle the problem of the entire country, right? So, you can't, because you have to follow the footsteps of their leaders. The footsteps of their leader is feudalist system, a system that is called Rankadede system. They handpick few people, selected people, to be given proper education and not to use them for the development of their people. They will use them to further manipulate their people. That's the system. And that system is alien to us in southern Nigeria. As bad as it is, you still expect political office holders to act responsibly enough and expect that there will be consequences of their actions. But the further we are deeper into Nigeria arrangement, the further the further down we have become, grounded we have become. Yeah. So the system of Alimajiri, the system of Bambiala, the system of Rankadede, these are alien systems to us, alien feelings or doings to us. But if you look at the way APC operates in southern Nigeria, the Bambiala system, the handout system, the all-riser, the praise and worship and all of that, where people have to say thank you God that finally they have constructed our road, the road on in front of our streets. Oh, finally they have now given us street lights after 40 years, where people have to be so grateful that health center is being repainted and few beds have been supplied. So if you look at the system of, if you look at the system of Tinubu from 1999, it is that same system, the system that gives you this idea of a great thing coming. We have this great idea that will lift people out of poverty, that will stop unemployment, that will reduce homelessness, that will create that will give protection to women and children, that will give all those things, ideas. Then you make people suffer for them. Make something that could be done in months, turn it into years. Then make people poorer, make them poor. And whenever election is coming, position yourself as their savior, because you have always been the one around trying to help them. That system of Almajiri system gradually crept into Yoruba land. It became almost it's now part of us. It's not only also. It seems to be like it is a maniac, it is a menace, it is a pandemic all over Nigeria. But it is a systemic weaponization of that poverty. So if you want power, all you have to do is what? Just follow the footstep of those who impoverished in northern Nigeria and then the rest of Nigeria. Those who are so against restructuring of that Nigeria, where the wealth redistribution, where people can manage their own resources and hold their own leaders, accountable in their own different region of the country. They resist, and it is deliberate. So that system worked for Tinubu, and as we speak, it seems to be working for them in northern Nigeria too. And because we know what the end result will be, it's going to be poverty upon poverty. It's going to be hardship upon hardship. Everything else is going to be audio, just like everything you have known them for. And we have the right to let people know this, even though they know all this. We also have the right to remind them the danger of ignoring these signs, because it's not going to end in the same way. It's going to end the same way. The Bambi Allah that will make you an educated person to wake up in the morning and be praying that make that politician just bless you this week. May somebody just do something that will give you job. Where you are, you have been reduced to a miracle seeker. But primarily, for example, in Yoruba land, they told us that it is a good thing to train your child, through school. Give your children education, because even if you don't have money, if you don't have everything, make sure you do your best to give your children education. Because if you can give them that, they will figure out how they are going to live the rest of their lives. So our parents decided to give it all. They gave us education to the best of their capabilities. Then Nigeria unraveled, whereby graduates are now Okada riders, Keke Maruwa riders, conductors and bus drivers, graduates who, when something you could have possibly just decide to go for rider test or go for driving test. But when Nigeria finally says, no, you have to find a way out, Nigeria now conditions you to the point that it is Adura Walugba that they have finally built the boys' hostel, or they have finally built the guest hostel in the state university. After all these years, finally they have built it for us. We thank God. Let us be so grateful. And people like us know that this is systemic. Nothing is ever going to change. Nothing is ever going to be different. And I remember that when they make promises and they put people's lives on the line, when they don't fulfill those promises, people's lives are also still on the line. There are victims, and you can look around you today. Graduates, parents, some parents who struggled to send their children to different schools, get education, in hope that when they grow old, when they get older, they will be able to take care of themselves and possibly even take care of their parents. Some of these, so many of us like that, some of us are still living with our parents at the age of 30, 35, 40 years. Some people, even in that Lagos state, that they will tell you, Ashiwaju ni, nothing, you are just an enemy, shut up your mouth and all of that. And the rest of them, even in that Lagos, you see many of them, they call them young landlords, right? They are young landlords. They are graduates who have no jobs. And some of them, since they have been jobless, they found a sort of a leisure in politics, something where they felt like, oh well, some of them feels like, well, I can influence the system. I'm educated. I'm not like them. That's why I'm in APC and the rest of that. Only for them to come out worse than they say. But it is all systemic. Do you get what I mean now? So we know where it's going to end. We know what they have done to us. We can't continue to live in that denial. So that's why it is, I may not have the power, I may not have all the resources to stop them, but I can always raise the alarm because we know where it is going to end. They told you that they will give you 3 million jobs every year when the Tinubu and gang, when they were campaigning for Buhari. Now, majority of them, they have not even apologized to you, the Yorubas, who lost your jobs, who lost your businesses. Some of you who lost your loved ones in the last 6 years of APC. Now, let me tell you this, if you can't really put it together, what I mean by this. When you have people who have the opportunity to give us the better and the best of the best deal as a Yoruba people. When I say best and the best deal, it starts from education, healthcare, infrastructures like road, electricity, and then enabling environments for businesses to create jobs that are well-paying jobs. When I say jobs that give you a living wage, the one that doesn't undermine your humanity and reduce your self-esteem as a human being, the one that doesn't reduce you to absolutely nothing. Now, for 22 years, they choose not to do that. The last 6 years of the 22 years, they actually told you that they were going to, even if Nigeria was worse, they were going to do their best to make it better enough that some of you will probably have a job, have your own job to be proud of enough that at least it will justify why you think maybe they haven't done enough. Yeah, maybe Buhari didn't do enough, maybe APC didn't do enough, but they have done this, which impacted on you than what I know impacted negatively more on you. Some way that cuts you to size, reduced you to where, place you where they wanted you to be, a place where they can come back and offer you help and say, you know what, we have a solution now, come here, we want to help you, like they're about to start doing now. For 22 years, I remember when they were talking about Lagos Master Plan. The same thing goes across the rest of Yoruba land. Because you see, I would never sit down here and comfortably blame all our problems on anybody. Because they were those who are there in the last 22 years. Nobody said they build 10 million houses in Yoruba land and the houses perish. It is not that they built, modern hospitals. I'm talking about real hospitals, big hospital enough that you can say 1,000 beds. You know what? Since democracy started, since Yorubas have been, Yorubas have always been the governors of Yoruba land. Yorubas have always been the rep of Yoruba land. Yorubas have always been the members of the State House of Assembly in Yoruba land. And they have always been the one passing your budget. They have always been the one borrowing money. The federal government of Nigeria just approved it for them. And the money comes back to your people, okay? So let's say in the last 22 years, it is not that they built hospitals. Yoruba land, they have the biggest hospitals you can talk about, or you can even like desire in any part of Nigeria. In fact, there are some states in Yoruba land where they have a singular hospital which has more than 2,000 beds. All these things are possible things that could have impacted in your lives, okay? Where you have a real working healthcare system, the one that won't turn you to a beggar, or the one that will not turn you to a poor man, that, one single health problem. So there are some people right now that one single health problem, all of their savings, people will start selling their properties, people will start selling their land, they will start selling their shares, all their bank savings will be gone. You get what I mean now? So for 22 years, Yorubas, just like others too, Yorubas are at the mercy of the Sisi Alagos, the tradomedical days, which are very good, even if those are the ones they genuinely promoted in the last 22 years of democracy. That alone probably would have created more than 100,000, 200,000 real job. I mean, but they didn't. It is still the same of the same. And when you say, why is this so? They will say, but you know that Nigeria is broke. You know that Nigeria is fighting war, terrorism. You know Nigeria needs to get money from elsewhere in order to make sure that we are fighting. So you are funding terrorism and you are wallowing in abject poverty. But to politicians, it can be a game on. We are doing our best. That's enough. So me as a Yoruba man, that type of conditioning is what I would never want to be blackmailed into agreeing to. Tinubu is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And it's not just Tinubu. It is the entire team, the entire group of manipulators, the entire team of opportunists. The people who are always concerned about Yoruba, about your jobs, about your children, about your this or that whenever election is coming, because they can tell you again what they are going to do. But I can always remind you that they have nothing new that they are going to do or offer. And it's not just them. Look at the PDP too. Sometimes, well, maybe it is always better to continue to remind ourselves that whether PDP or APC, they are the same. In Yoruba land, when PDP were controlling some states in Yoruba land, yeah, it was the same. Yorubas were the governors. Yorubas were the senators. And when it was time for them to cross over and do their crossover and with the rest of that, we watched that in Yoruba land. So for that 22 years, their own contribution is also the poverty we have in Yoruba land. And as we speak, in order not to make it even like so too difficult for you, my proposition and all that is just to let you know why it is not worth it to either get blackmailed because you are a Yoruba man and it should be the turn of the Yoruba to be president, and then you look around you and they say, since you have no choice, Tinubu should be your choice, then you ignore all the red flags, right? And you get emotionally attached to that. You that want Yoruba nation, you that want Oduduwa Republic, but they know and have a way of appealing to your emotion. I know them very well. That is why sometimes when these things don't happen, when I talk about them, they just sound so much like they can never convince me. Never. But the way they are tailoring it here, the emotional part of it is something that you have to be prepared for, indeed, if you don't want to get carried away with that, right? Because you see, in southern Nigeria, as disadvantaged electorally as southern Nigeria is right now, that you would expect that the politicians in southern Nigeria, the traditional rulers in southern Nigeria, the opinion makers of southern Nigeria, then those they call the think tanks of the Yoruba or southern Nigeria, if they couldn't see through their limitation that we are now at the mercy of the Fulani North and this power broker in northern Nigeria that we call the gatekeepers, all right? If they don't see that they are at their mercy yet, that they should also manage to demand that it is either this is renegotiated and everybody manage to conduct their own affair their own way, or it will be better we just have to break up the whole thing. because you will know the end result. What do I mean by that? The PDP, who normally ran into trouble for not letting the northern Nigeria to complete Yar'Adua's tenure in PDP, and Goodluck Jonathan, despite all he did, despite all the projects he concentrated in northern Nigeria, the schools, the universities, the rural road, the electrification, the Almajiri schools, which are actually special schools that allow the northern children to study Al-Quran, and at the same time to study the Quran, and at the same time to also study the Western education, so that they can function in the both world. So they will get to keep all their Islamic training and all of that, and they can also be able to interact with the rest of the world in the Western way, right? Jonathan did that too, right? And they never forgave him for that. They did that, never forgave him for that. So the same PDP, as we speak, championed mostly by the southern politicians, southern governors, southern PDP governors, right? They themselves, they have written themselves off. As we speak today, the effort of the likes of Governor of Rivers State, Wike, and the effort of the likes of Seyi Makinde in Oyo is that if PDP want to rescue Nigeria, PDP should listen to the PDP governors and the PDP politicians, senators, and the rest of them from northern Nigeria, who have considered that 8 years of Buhari is a waste and a missed opportunity, just like the 3 years of Yar'Adua. Now, you see this idea, this thought, right, is gaining momentum among them in northern Nigeria. And then you see these two rich states from southern Nigeria. Their governor, Wike, that I call him the Were Wike, somebody that in Yoruba land, we call the people like Wike Asheburuku Shere. But Wike happened to be one of the best governors when it comes to infrastructural development at an alarming rate as required by the current state of Nigeria. Nigeria should be a construction site every now and then, where people are always out there constructing things that makes life even better, and in fact improve the means of doing business. So Wike is considered as one of those in that category. But Wike, who is also the governor of the second richest state in the entire Nigeria after Lagos, that's the Rivers State. Wike, who generates enough to run his own affair, is appealing. Some are mobilizing for Tambuwa of Sokoto. Wike is mobilizing for Tambuwa, and because Wike, according to the intel, Wike will prefer Tambuwa than Atiku. Seyi Makinde, another brilliant southern governor, who has had at least a very good run so far when it comes to his policies and the way he's been implementing them. I know you are always biased, Maiyegun. You see how you are talking nice about Wike, to see how you are talking nice about Seyi Makinde. That's actually not the point I'm trying to make. When it comes to record, as terrible as Nigeria is, when you begin to pick up the governors one by one, right, and you check their track record, Seyi Makinde also happened to be one of the superstar governors who changed the fortune of Oyo State. Yeah, you remember when they banned the NURTW in Ibadan? I know that one has its own scandal on the side, right? But you remember when they banned them? That eventually became a positive thing for the people of Oyo State, whereby their internally generated revenue, almost doubled, I would say, in the first year that Seyi Makinde implemented, which now gave him more money to implement any of his program for his people, and in fact reduced his own borrow, not like the rest of the country. But you see, these two guys who are Southerners, they know, or they think they know Nigeria better enough that if this is about power, this is about how we are going to survive another 4 years. If we don't do something,
Don't let us think about anybody from anywhere. Forget about Nigerians who are shouting. This is not about Yoruba or not. The best way for us to gain power and help our party, because majority of them who haven't crossed over to APC, indeed, it's either church rats that are stealing from here and there just to survive, or they just folded up and just feel like maybe one day it will be their turn. Now, election is coming. This is election year. Southern, what do you call it? The Southern celebrated the governors. They want a northern president. This is another reason why their election should never be of anything of interest to you. So if we decide to talk based on those who feel like election can make a difference, let's pretend that, or pretend like those who believe that participating in this kind of arranged election is going to make any reasonable difference. Southern governors who have come under so much limitation, warning, threats on things they wanted to do to at least alleviate the suffering of their people, especially on insecurity and what have you. But as much as they have what it takes, they are not bold enough to say, me, Sheyi Makinde, I'm governor, and I've got good stuff to sell to Nigerians. Let me talk to them, and then, I will be the president. He knows he will never be that president. Everybody needs to go to northern Nigeria. And when they got to northern Nigeria, what they meant is that we don't feel like we have used our time. We don't feel like that. Buhari has wasted our time. He's wasted our opportunity, but we don't consider that as a wasted opportunity for northern Nigeria. It's a wasted opportunity for Nigeria. And the best way to convince the northerners to participate in the election, to vote for anybody, is to give them a northerner. So southern Nigeria is not there for Tinubu. And as we see, the southern, those that they call themselves the southern players, right? They are already looking up north. Those who told you that Fulanis are dangerous, Fulanis are this or that, they are going to have to give you reasons why you have to follow Atiku now. And they are already giving that reasons. The only thing that makes somebody like myself to always be kind of insistent, insistence is that people think we can just forget some things and pretend that they never happened. And then maybe once we move on, then just deal with the rest that comes after that. They will blackmail you, make you think it is the right thing to do. If you don't participate, if you don't join them, you are just an enemy. And they can then use the tribe to blackmail you. I'm a Yoruba man, so I'm used to that. I know what I'm talking about. But the bottom line is that if you look at the whole thing set up here, they are actually going to go up there to go and kiss the ring. Whoever get the kissing or get the blessing first is the one they have to push back to you and say, that's when they will come back to the southern Nigeria with confidence, say, you don't set. Nobody can stop him now. Because southern Nigeria is already divided to the point that those who are in southern Nigeria, who should be fighting for southern Nigeria, even in your one Nigeria, they are pushing for another Fulani from the north. Let me give you names. Obasanjo, he personally wants this former Jigawa state governor, Sule Lamido. And according to Obasanjo, it can be from any political party. But somehow, it be like say everybody they've updated themselves about Obasanjo, so nobody gets intimidated about him anymore. He keeps pushing. Tambuwa, which is the governor of Sokoto State, is the body of Wike. To Wike, Tambuwa is the governor. I am a governor. If they pick Tambuwa, I can be deputy. Now, you as a southerner, right? that have seen enough of all this madness. And then you are like, okay, maybe if for those of you waiting, maybe if the power now come back to southern Nigeria, maybe it will be a different thing. Though it won't. It will never be anything different. You are just going to learn how to live with that consequences then. And they say now only what is it they call that? Nothing goes hard in Nigeria that doesn't go harder. It doesn't get. People just learn how to adapt to how to live with it. Sorry, I missed something there. So for people like us who know, or who kind of knows what the end result will be, we rather not by any means blackmailed into agreeing with what you know will be the end result. So from southern Nigeria, it is going to be another Fulani. So we have Tambua, we have Atiku. One of the things they are trying to use against Atiku is that he is now old. He should be a godfather. He should support somebody. But from southern Nigeria, they are willing to be deputy. All of you can cry of marginalization, you can do that or what have you. They just want that power and they don't mind to be deputy. Now, for Tinubu himself, they need to make an impression that, oh, we will follow Tinubu. And they're already showing that in northern Nigeria. But ask yourselves, since you have been following Angono, since you have been following the Nigerian political convo, have you ever seen Nigeria this divided before? Since you have been following political conversation and the rest of that. You haven't. Now, have you ever, for any reason, seen the voting pattern when the northerner is involved? Maybe you didn't pay attention, but it's always good that when people say, let us support them, so that some people have that impression, they feel like if you support them, so when the southerner become the president, it will just change everything. We'll just have Yoruba nation. We'll just have all this regionalism. See, it's so easy like that. And just same way they told you that all you needed was just to vote for ABC change. And you know what I mean? Everything you want will be handed over to you. Now that has failed. And some people are trying to encourage themselves to say, so Tinubu is ready to kiss the ring by denying us completely in Yoruba land or entire southern Nigeria. But are you going to blame him? Even those who pretended to be younger governors in opposition, they are also looking up north. And that's why they say, fear not. Some said, fear not. Some said, Baba, fear not though. If you see the north, fear them or fear the north. They say, fear not. Baba, not they follow that too. Because even the loud mouth, even those who pretend to have some level of reach, they are all dancing towards the north. So where does that leave people like us? Out of it. Because you end up knowing where this is going to end. And it's, there is nobody in southern Nigeria, nobody who is confident enough to say, I want to be the president and I'm going to talk to the rest of the country, and they are going to, they know it's never going to happen. You're just joking. They look at you, they just laugh. Issa Funtua, they were interviewing him someday, and it was like, they said, if Nigeria was to be a country, and the people in charge of Nigeria, you know what I mean, and people in charge of Nigeria, they are not selfish. They really care for that country. They are naturally, by the law of natural selection, Igbos should produce the president. Do you see how they are discussing it? Do you see how they are debating it? So they were asking Issa Funtua. Issa Funtua now said, the Igbos must belong if they want to produce presidents. And people were like, belong to what? Yeah, they must belong. Belong to what? To your court, where you all agree to continue to massacre Nigerians as long as you have the power and the wealth. How many of you remember that interview? They must belong. So since the law of natural selection won't play out, and it's not because they don't have the candidate for it, but it is because they will tell you the candidate won't be accepted in the north. So nobody wants to give it a shot. But at the same time, they want the Igbos, they want the Yoruba, they want everybody to remain in that same country. They don't want to talk about it. They won't talk about it. And it is the same process, it is the same process that continue to produce these characters. So why would I want to participate in something that is a charade? Looking into it alone tells you what the end result will be. So if you are worried about, if you are concerned about the end result, which you should be concerned about the end result, why should you then want to dedicate all your energy to push for the people who don't give a damn about you? They are not confident enough to say, we want to lead our people from southern Nigeria, and that should be acceptable to the people of northern Nigeria without any condition. But they will tell you it is a democracy. What kind of democracy makes the economic region of a country that has less political influence? Take a look at America. You know, America practices the kind of federal system of government, and they practice it as well in their, in their electoral college, electoral system. A system whereby, they said the powerful, they will have to oppress the weak. Sorry, tell me, but how is the video, by the way? I hope it's still manageable. You can hear me clearly, can you? Let's see. I'm going to check my video. How is that? It's manageable, is it? Thank you. So you know what the end result is going to be. You know these characters too well. They're going to tell you they are not the same people you knew. They'll say, oh, no, they have changed. They have different things. You know all that. You know what? So to me, it's like, why should you want to waste your energy, everything, dedicate all of that, convincing people, threaten those you are going to threaten, maybe kill those you are going to kill, only to bring the people who are going to give you the same thing that you are then going to wait again and say, let us wait till 2027, because after 2023, now 2027 now. So there is nothing new. So this is why some of us feel like, me personally feel like, number one, I don't live in Nigeria. So apart from the fact that I could come back into Nigeria and vote, I don't live in Nigeria, so I don't vote. Now, look at the American electoral system, right? American electoral system means it recognizes the importance and the influence of every state that makes up the United States of America. They have 50 states. There are some states that are small as Kolobo as Ekiti, not as small as Ekiti, but on map, smaller. And there are states like California, Barakata. There are states that are just medium but massive. population of these states changes every now and then, but they have the permanent registered voters. If you have your residents or residents in any part of these states. So California, who has the population of more than, I don't know the population of California, by the way, but let's put it this way. California with a population of about 40 million people. And then Maine, sorry, maybe that one will sound something because there's a state called Maine. Let me look for a state that is smaller. Let's use Sarah Palin State. What's that Sarah Palin State again? Hawaii. I say Hawaii. No. Give me one small state, Arkansas. You get the drift, huh? Let's say you have the Arkansas or Maryland. You have Maryland states now that has, which is not Maryland state, I think, yeah, Pennsylvania. Is that what you have your Maryland, right? Now, let's say you now have another state, popular state, or smaller state, Florida, and you put it on the side of California. And they say, oh, the population of Florida is just about 4 million. So 4 million to 40 million, that's massive. So somebody who feels like, and now, when you have 50 states in America, and then you have about 10, I don't know if they're up to 10, no, 10 Alaska, God bless you, Jared. That's where Sarah Palin come from, right? So 10 of those states out of the 50, they are the biggest with a massive population, right? Then another 20, they have the medium population. Then another third category, they have a smaller population. How do we make sure that the electoral decision of the people of 40 million in California does not decide or override the electoral decision of the people of Alaska, Vermont? Give me those names, those smaller ones. So you know what America did to create balance, yeah? America, you know, it will be, if not, all the American presidential candidates, they will only be campaigning in just 10 states. It's enough. The rest is just for paparazzi. They won't waste their time there. Because all they need is what? Once you have 20 million votes in California, 20 million votes in New York, 10 million, you know, I'm just saying no. And you begin to pick all these 10 states. By the time you put all of them together, you've gotten everything you need. So you don't need the people of Ekiti. You don't need the people of Osun. You don't need the people of Abia. You don't need the people of Enugu. You don't, because what you have the people of Borno. You have the people of Katsina. You have the people of Kaduna. You have the people of Kano. You have the people of Sokoto. And they brag about the imbalance that if Ekiti vote, if Osun vote, if Abia vote, some will tell you all the vote from the 5 states in Eastern Nigeria, now only Kano vote to cancel it. That's how rigged the system is, which means you don't really have a say in who becomes your president or who becomes what in your electoral system. And if you don't have that power, now the people will get that power, now then they control the country. That is why when they pray, now them they share. When they are sharing money, when they are sharing your destiny, when they are sharing your inheritance, now prayer you go to pray because you have no power. Even if you want it differently. And listen, this issue of no power, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what we now said, that if the people in charge of Yoruba land, if they love Yoruba people, genuinely, I love Yoruba land, I love the Yoruba people, but I don't have the resources or power to actually do what I think should be done. That's why we said the people like Tinubu and co, yeah, who should understand this better if they are not benefiting from it. Should have kicked against that. You know what America did, So America now did this, like, for all of you, we won't become president in America, to know that every vote matter. Even if you win 20 million votes in California, now 20 electoral college vote, now you take all of that. So America now, their forefathers. We get sense. The forefather, Nigeria no get forefather. Now regional, local champion, regional champions who became champion of their people who led to independence. There is no Nigeria forefathers. So those people had their own vision for what their own type of Nigeria is going to be. Are you with me? Ahmadu Bello, he had his own vision for the northerners. Azikiwe and this other guy, which will be the Okotiebo, Shena Okotiebo, the Minister of Finance then. Not just Okotiebo. The powerful people who were in politics of the First Republic, the Igbos, they had their vision. Their vision is for the Igbos. Though Zik, some people they say now Zik fuck up. Because now Zik won't have their own vision of one Nigeria where everybody will exist together in peace and unity. And at the end of the day, some of my Igbo brothers, they don't like Zik for that. But the vision was that the Igbo people will strive, the Igbo people will be successful. Everybody will be successful in this Nigeria we're going to get into, and we are going to treat ourselves as equal. But with the Yorubas, the idea then, the vision was Awolowo's vision that the Yorubas believed in. You see, all of these visions, none of them is the vision of forefathers for Nigeria of today. But you see, the visions of the forefathers of America, you know what they did? They were like, if we do try to fix this, one day, the people of Alaska, they go buy gun. One day, the people of Vermont, the people of all these smaller states, once they realize that they don't have any contribution, they don't have any say in who becomes what, they will be alienated. They will start feeling like they're not part of it. And once you feel like you're not part of a system, the next thing you're going to ask for is to break away. And from the history of America, now people will run away from what they called the rule or the control of Europe here. People will feel like in Europe, some king, queen, and the rest of them, they are trying to lord it over them. Some of them break away from jail because they don't want to be under the authority of the European usual law. They moved to America. So now everybody be Saba de Saba on his own. So to bring them together, you have to build a system that is inclusive. Something that makes them, no matter how small they are relevant in what happened in your general election. If you want to keep a country, if you don't want to do that, I'm gonna forget you. Everybody go kill themselves, then go break America up into pieces. So what did they do? They were like, you see all these big states with so many people. Yeah. If any candidate going for president or a presidential office, right? If he win that state, we'll say, for example, California now, voters there 20 million. If any candidate, if any party win California, yeah, they are going to get 21 electoral college votes. So electoral college votes is the number of what do you call it, the collegiates from each state. So the collegiates, the people they call the collegiates are, you see, after all of you have voted for your candidate in your different states, then you have to go and wait and say, okay, if my candidate wins my state, I know automatically that he's going to get 10 electoral college votes. So the total number of electoral college votes is how many again? 500 and please help me, you American voters. Now, what they did then was that I'll use Nigeria context here, right? States like Kano, if states like okay, yeah, the total, the 270 is what they have to meet, isn't it? And then the total is how many? 302. God bless you. Yeah, 302. That's the total. Now, the 302 electoral college vote, yeah, is this. This is how that means. Let's say Kano have 4 million registered voters, according to them, verified. You see those 4 million voters, if they now come out and let's say Atiku, I'm using this now just as a practical. They have Atiku, which is then they have Tifnumbu. So in Kano, Atiku scored 2 million votes. Tifnumbu scored 1.5 million votes. So on the vote part, the total number of votes Atiku got in Kano will be that 2 million. But for the electoral college, if they say Kano will be 10 electoral college votes because of the number of voters there. So that simply means Atiku has won 10 electoral college votes there. There are people who they call the electors, okay? That's another process of choosing them, okay? But their job is not to override your votes. Once all of you are voted in Kano, that means 10 electoral college votes there goes to that candidate that win the state. So if you now go to Lagos, and Tifnumbu, they have 5 million voters in Lagos, and Tifnumbu scored 4 million, and Atiku scored 1 million. So by the time you tally their votes, Tifnumbu's vote may go up, but the electoral college vote in Lagos may be 8. So on the tally table, Atiku has won 1 state, Tifnumbu has won 1 state. But on the electoral college, what have you? Atiku has gotten Atiku has 10 electoral college votes. Tifnumbu has 8 electoral college votes. Now the way they now spread out is this. You see these two candidates, they may be winning this big city, 20 electoral college votes, 27, 22, 15, and all of that. You know where those smaller states will become so crucial. It's so bad, yeah, in America, when they are doing their election. You see all these smaller states, most times, they always come so late. So that is where you are going to need Ekiti. Ekiti voters may just be 1 million voters or 800,000 voters. And Tifnumbu score 300,000, Atiku score 400,000. And the electoral college vote there in Ekiti may be 7. Deliberately, it may be 7. So if you have shared the electoral college, you've won Ekiti, you have won Cross River, this one win Oyo, another one win Sokoto, and you see all these 10 million votes, 5 million votes, all these fake votes that come from refugee camp, they will become useless. Because number one, they won't have to put so much effort into, you know what I mean, into rigging election there, because it's not about the numbers of how many numbers of votes anymore. So if you go to Borno to go and rig election, Borno electoral college vote may just be 6. It may just be 11. Some people will willingly, they will give some space and they will focus in other places where they just want to drag those states. Once they get the electoral college vote there, they will back it up from elsewhere. So people in Ekiti, people in Abia, nobody will stand up and say some people are dot in a circle. They don't matter. Nobody will sit down and brag and say some people are their slaves. Nobody would look at you and say you don't count. But because Nigeria is a winner takes it all, which Nigeria don't get 4 bearers. It is just where anything goes, anywhere with their face. Everybody just wait for your own turn. You get what I mean now? And then when the castle now burst, do you get what I mean now? You have a place where they don't even know how to have a conversation about a nation. They are not building a nation in Nigeria. It is a winner takes it all. You will see politicians, they will say, if the Igbos want to be president, they need to belong. We cannot sell the candidacy of Igbo we can't sell a candidate of a Yoruba man in Igbo land, or we can't sell a candidate of Igbo man in Hausa land. We need to go and look for a Fulani that we need to go and look for a Muslim. We need to go and look for a Christian. We need to go and blah, 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 blah. And then you say, change a nation when they build so. What kind of country are you building? If you tell yourself, sir, the truth,